All right, y'all, here's the next project. This is a Powder River squeeze chute, older model. It's probably from the 90s or maybe even older than that. Maybe even older than that. I picked it up for a pretty good little steal, $600. I've been looking around for one. We've got another Powder River, it's a newer one. It's only a couple years old, but for my father-in-law farm, which is about an hour away from here, there's no way to work out there. There's not a working facility or a headstock or anything. So, sorry. I don't know what's going on with my voice, but they don't have anything out there, and he needs something. And I've been looking at squeeze chutes and headstocks, and really everything's just about outrageous anymore. You know, a new tartar, which is one of the cheaper ones, is $4,500. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, you know, shine this one up, make it work. I think it'll be fine for what we're looking to do. It's got the wheels to move it, but that needs some work. So I'll take you over what needs work right now. Main things are, this right here's cracked right there. I'm probably gonna grind it out and wet it up some. And then the floor in it is rotted out, at least right here. Up through there it looks all right. So need to reskin that, need to grind these off. I don't know what that's from. I think someone either shot it, but I don't know, maybe a bell spear, not a clue, chain, something, I don't know. But just need to grind it down so don't catch animals and cut them up, lube it all up, and then protect it from the rust. And that's about all we're gonna do. But this is the next project. Here's what she looks like right now. And I'm going to pressure wash it right now, see what we got, and then jump into the repairs of it. All right, let's get going. There she is, all cleaned up. I was sitting here studying on this. I think this is on purpose. I think this was like, you know, bars you could stick behind the legs of the cow, maybe pass through, go to the other side, and they just punched them through. I'm figuring, I think that's what that was. But I got a better look at what I need to fix now. So we'll go in here and set her in the garage and start putting her back together. I don't know what to do about this, where it's cracked on this bar down here. More than likely we're not gonna use it, but it'd be nice to have, you know, where you could transport it. So that's something we gotta think about. I haven't made my mind up on what exactly we're gonna do on that. And then we're gonna have to find some sheet metal somewhere to patch this hole. The whole front up there looks real good. It's clean. Just back here needs work. So those are the two main things we need to fix, and everything else looks pretty good. Everything else looks intact. I'm just gonna take like a wire. I don't know, I'll probably just take the air needle scaler, clean the rust off on this, but everything looks pretty good. You know, she's old school, but she's old school in the sense that it works. So this is probably one of the earlier versions of a squeeze chute made. So I gotta figure out how this gate up here works. It's missing the cut gate. It's over here. I pressure washed it off. So yeah, we got some work to do, but we'll jump into her and start beating away on it. Let's go. All right, here's the progress so far. I got in here, and first thing I did is I went ahead and mounted this cut gate here, made sure it fit. I don't know how it was supposed to go on here, but I had to cut this back bolt off and put a new bolt on that. But I got it working. I'll show y'all how it works. You just pull this handle down right here. It's actually pretty slick. You pull it like that. So that's in working order. I started investigating the way this whole hitch deal, it was slid all underneath there and bolted front and back. It was bolted right here and then back there. And then they had that little axle, the tires went on through the side. It was like over top. It was in between the floor of this and this hitch. So that meant the whole weight of this thing was sitting on that axle. And this is only like 1/8 inch steel bent over for the floor. So that's definitely why it cracked. They put these two stress you know, 2 places for the stress to go in these holes. There's 2 holes here, 2 holes here, and it just tore it. So I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna redo the way that the whole hitch was set up. I didn't like how the tongue stayed here no matter what. You know, there's really no way to get it out of the ground, hook it up to a truck or tractor. The cows had to walk over across this tongue up there. It was tripping hazard. And then I couldn't figure out how they even got the tires on without just having 3 of your best friends come over and push it over on one side, push it on the other, or jack it up, or lift it up with a tractor. And that just didn't seem like a very efficient way to do things. And there's 2 places at my in-laws place. He's got a place that's got about 40 head and another place that's got about 35. And he's gonna be using this at both. So it's gotta be mobile. That's the whole reason we got it. So we're gonna figure out what to do to make it, 1, mobile, 2, where it doesn't actually destroy itself with this axle in the middle, and 3, have a removable tongue that can lift up. I'm thinking about just mounting the tires closer to the rear where the main frame is at. You know, I know that as far as, you know, weight distribution and hauling and all that, not the best, but you're not gonna be going that fast with this thing or that far. So, you know, you're kind of just gonna take it on the chin with that part of it. But if I put it back here, that'll let the weight transfer all the way up through here. And then the rest of the weight will be on the front tongue up there to wherever it's hooked to. And the axle won't, so the thing was pretty much like just, like it was just bending itself over like that. Over top of it. So that's kind of my idea right now. I'll show you. It's gonna be much easier to weld once I got this thing tore apart. So you can see it just cracked right up to there. So I'm gonna weld that back up. While I got it blown apart, I'm gonna put a floor in. I'm probably just gonna do this back part. I beat on it with a hammer through here. This all through here looks really good. It's just this part here. It's 1/8 inch steel. Might even not be 1/8 inch, but it's not very thick. It's just pretty much sheet metal. So I'm just gonna scab it over it. All it's gotta do is hold, you know, 1,500 pound animals on it. But it's got a cross member right there. I don't think it'll be an issue. Just scabbing on top of that. And then I'm gonna figure out what this axle, and I gotta figure out an axle, the things to figure out. Axle, rear, where to go, where to mount. Where to put jacks on this so that you can take off and take on the tires and lift the tongue up without getting a tractor. And number 3, number 4 is gonna be how to do that on 1 jack. So we probably have to move the jack around, but where can I put the jack to where it won't flip the thing over when you're jacking it up? So that's what I'm thinking about. This is where we're at right now. Once I get some things figured out on what I'm gonna do, I will give you a progress report. All right, on to the next thing. All right, guys, a little update. Got some scrap metal cut out to go in these spots where the holes and stuff had rusted through. I'm not gonna weld them all the way up because there's really not that much there, and I don't think it'll benefit me none. So that's all the weld that's gonna get on that one. So that's got the back plate there on, and then this plate here that had the big holes in, she's in. There's just some scrap metal we had laying around. It's not straight, really. It's got some bows in it because I had to pound it out. It had this big curve in it, so that's just gonna work fine for this. So that's where we're at on that. And the next thing is, I gotta figure out if I'm gonna keep this thing a portable squeeze chute or if I'm just gonna, you know, do it with the whole thing. I think I'm gonna try to make it portable. And I'm gonna kind of walk you through my plan. And then if I veto it later, y'all will be the first to know. So I think what I'm gonna do is move the rear tires back so they're not carrying all the weight of it. I'm going to take the old axle, cut it in half. I'm gonna weld 1 piece over here, 1 piece over here, so that when it sits on the ground without the tires, it's gonna be, you know, the same frame height as it is now, and it won't teeter-totter where I had that centerpiece coming through. And it's gonna transfer load straight up like it would when how it's designed to be. And then I'm going to make spots for a little scissor jack, which I got from Harbor Freight. This one to go on back that you can use 1 jack to get the whole thing up. So I don't have to buy a bunch of jacks. And then you'll lift it up in the back, put 1 tire on, put the other, or maybe both. I'm gonna see how teeter-tottery it is, how safe that is. jack it up the back, and then you can take the jack to the front and lift it up to hook it to the truck or trailer or wherever you're going to, tractor or whatever you're going to do. Then I'm going to make it, we're just going to have a removable tongue. I'm going to use, this is all from Harbor Freight. This stuff's kind of expensive, I guess. It was like 30 bucks for this and 26 bucks for this. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not that expensive. What I'm going to do is try to make a receiver tube on there so this slips into it, and then you can just use a regular, you know, hitch without the ball in it to hook it to the truck. They're not going to go going that far between two farms. It's like 3 miles. So that's the game plan right now. And the reason why I want to do that is so that there's a clean exit up here. You know, you had this tongue and everything tying the end up here. So my game plan is right now to cut this out and weld it into the actual frame of it. That shouldn't lose too much strength on the frame of the squeeze chute and should give plenty of strength to the tongue. The only question I have now is depth. So I'm a little worried about how close I can actually get it, and then, you know, still be able to tow it and it stay out of the bed of a truck or something. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. The next steps though are I'm going to finish welding up these cracks in the frame. I haven't done those yet. And then I'm going to throw the sides back up. I was going to take them off and paint it, but honestly, I think I'm just going to take a wire brush and beat off the main parts of the rust and then just shoot over it. You know, I was looking at it, it's not that rusty, but honestly, the only way you get it perfectly clean is if you had it sandblasted. So I'm gonna clean off the major, really flaky rust. I'm going to spray rust converter on the rest of it, and then I'm gonna shoot it with black paint. That's my game plan on that, because it's a squeeze chute at the end of the day. So that's where we're at now. I'll show you all a little update once I get somewhere else. All right, guys, this is where we're at. So I'm gonna show you everything I got welded up. I welded this right there where it cracked in the frame, and then I welded this back together. I welded on the back side. Now I'm looking at it, I probably should put something on the front side. Didn't see that till I started looking at it, but I welded it from the back side. Right there, put it back together. And then I had a hard time getting into this one, but there was a crack in this pull bar that actually closed the squeeze, the headstock on it. So I welded that back together on both sides. Right there. And then I welded this crack back together on this side. Here's where we're at on it. I think it'd be really cool to make it still mobile and put the little tongue on the front and all that, but you know, my dad came out and we were both talking about it. At the end of the day, it's just gonna be more tires that we have to keep up. You know, tires that are on are bad. I'm gonna have to go put new tires on it, steal some 16s from something else, some old tires we have or something. And then they're probably gonna be flat every time I go to use them. So I think the best route is I'm just gonna go ahead and wire brush this and paint it. And if we have to move it, take it somewhere else, we'll pick it up with a pallet fork, set it on the back of the trailer, set it off the pallet forks at the other farm. It would be handy having it a little bit more mobile, but the amount of times we're actually gonna move it around, it's gonna be 1 or 2 times at most a year. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense to spend the time. And I bought those parts from Harbor Freight. I'm gonna have to get more steel to make the tongue longer because it's not long enough to make a turn. So I'm gonna have close to probably at least $200, if not more, after I get the tires and everything, to make this mobile. And at the end of the day, once I even do that, I'm still gonna have a tongue here that the cows are gonna trip on, or I'm gonna trip over when I'm walking around their heads, doing whatever I'm doing on their heads. So I think I'm going to veto the idea of making this mobile, and then I'm just going to keep it the way it is. I'm going to wire brush it down and then paint it. And then I think that is gonna be it for this. But I don't think I've showed you guys it working yet. So I'll show you it working, like how the gist of it is now. And then we'll get into the painting of it. So the headstock and the squeeze and everything's worked from this side. This is actually a pretty cool style, you know, way that's been designed for an older style. You know, we've got a new Powder River, and I've ran some new Tartars and some new, I've got the air, you know, obviously the air equip's about as top of the line as it gets, and they're super nice. But for just a basic, you know, rudimentary headstock. This is not bad. It's old school. I like the way these are. The new ones, you know, they're got latches here. Some of them have pins. They're a little different, and they can slam shut. You can't do it on this one, but it is pretty handy to flip that up. I mean, for, you know, some simplistic design, it's not bad. It's pretty nice. I like that. So you can get in there, get their haunches and their head and everything to give shots. So here's the squeeze, or the headstock. You know, just crank down on that right there. Here's your release. You just push up on it to release it and open it up. This is your squeeze chute right here. That squeezes them down like that. Here's your release on this one, same as the headstock, pretty sweet. And the cool thing about this one is you don't have to go to the back. I've seen some really bad designs where they have like our Powder River on the new ones like this. I would rather have this design for the cut gate on it. They usually have like pulleys and stuff, and you have to run it from back here. But the cool thing about this one is, so here's your headstock handle right here. This is your running your headstock. Up here is your cut gate handle. So when you grab this and you pull down this, got that lever back there, and it's not that heavy. I thought it was gonna be really heavy because when I put that gate on there, it was very heavy to get up there and latched, but it is not. That was loud, but not that heavy when you get this big of a throw and the lever up there. So I actually do like that. It's not a bad design. And then here you just lift these little latches up. Not as, you know, not as smooth operating as the new ones as far as the drop gate is to get to their feet and stuff. The only bad thing about this one is there are no side release. So you can't cut them out if something happens when they're in there or anything like that. There's no way to cut them out. The only way you can adjust these to make them tighter on their feet or anything like that is there was a bolt here, but I put a pin in, it's easier. Just take this pin out, and this whole thing tilts down like you saw it earlier, and then you can adjust there's some adjustments at the bottom to make it a little bit tighter. So that's pretty much how this whole thing works out. To be a $600 squeeze chute, I really don't think you can ask for more. It's going to do exactly what we want to do. One bummer about it is it's this style, the scissor style headstock. I'm not a big fan of those. I like the self-catching ones. You know, everybody's got their preference. Some people like the ones where they come in like that. That's the new style. I've ran some preferts on theirs. They're like that. They're all right. But I just don't think you can beat the self-catching. A lot of people don't like those because you have to adjust them for bigger and smaller cattle. I've never really had an issue with it. I adjust mine to my cows, to our cows, the ones we're running. And then when it comes to calves, jump in there. They're not that big. So, I mean, when it comes to calves, I just get in there behind them anyways, grab by the tail and push them up against that headstock. You can pretty much make them do what you want to. So, but these are nice, you can close them down pretty tight. So it'll work. This is going to do what we need to do. So I'll give you an update once I get it wire brushed and painted. And then that'll pretty much be it for this project. All right, let's jump into it. All right, guys, you probably can't tell, but I took the wire brush to everything and got the big flaky gross rust off. As much as I'm going to do, at the end of the day, this thing is going to be sitting outside and being worked on, used. It's old, so we're not going to take it down. I thought about sandblasting it, but the mobile sandblaster I was talking to was like 3 weeks out, and I wanted to get this to him for Christmas. So we're not going to do that, but here we go. I cut these sharp edges off on this thing. I was thinking about welding them closed. That's kind of still sharp, but I was thinking about welding them closed, but I'm not going to. What's it matter? They just have holes in it. Got all the big flaky rust off for the most part. And then now I'm going to, I remember where I laid them. Let's look. I think they're over here. Everything's a mess right now. Yeah. On all the really rusty stuff, I'm gonna spray this rust reformer. I've had good luck with it so far on like not super rusty stuff, but this scale rust of kind of neutralizing it and not letting it come back through the paint. So I'm gonna hit all the super rusty, surface rust spots and then we'll start painting. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, this is where we're at. I only bought 2 cans of that converter because it's freaking expensive. It's like $11 a can. So I hit the most rusted pitted areas. You know, it's all been wire brushed, but I was just making sure a little extra insurance. This stuff's actually, well, at least from what I've found, anecdotally, it's pretty good stuff. But I did it in all the really hard to wire brush areas where I couldn't, you know, get in there real good and, you know, try to eliminate that rust from spreading. So like back in here where I couldn't get in there real good, I sprayed all that down. Anywhere that I couldn't, you know, had weird angles and couldn't get the wire brush good, I sprayed it with the converter. So it's on there now. I've used all 2 cans, and we're gonna start painting with everything else. You could spend the money for the converter or paint this with, you know, the rusty metal primer, but at the end of the day, I just don't think it's worth it because this thing's gonna be beat and banged on. It's just like painting a trailer. You do it to protect it a little bit, but at the end of the day, you know all the paint's gonna come off, or a large part of it. So I'm gonna shoot black on it, and that's gonna be the end of it as far as paint goes. All right, so let's jump into it. All right, guys, this is the update so far. Got her painted black, looking slick. Can't even tell that she's pitted out. Looks brand new, like you bought it from the store yesterday. So the game plan now is to, I'm gonna throw these pieces of rubber hose on there and handles, make it easier to grab. And then I'm gonna throw this old conveyor belt. Got the rough top on it, the gator top on it, for their feet, keep them from slipping through. But that's the plan for now. But this is what she looks like right now, and I'll give you an update. I'm done with that. All right, y'all. This is pretty much the final little bit here. I pretty much got everything done I wanted to wrap up on. So I'll show you all that, and I'm gonna show y'all kind of how it works, and then that'll be it for this video. I got the some of the hose worked out, some of it didn't. So like on this head hold down here, I got this slid down on pretty good. Worked out real well. That worked out well. On these 2 bigger handles, couldn't find anything that fit. It was the right size. It needed to be 1 3/4 hose. Didn't have it. All I had was 1.5 inches and 2 inch. 2 inches too big. It would just slide up and down, and then the 1.5 inches is as far as I could get it. But the main thing I wanted for this, because really it's big enough to hold on to, is I didn't want to, these when they're all the way up are the head height. So I wanted to get the end of that pipe, you know, protected so that I didn't crack my head or somebody else cracked their head on it. So I got that on there, and then got this one on there. This is for the cut gate. It fit, it worked out. That one worked out nice. It's the right size. And then lastly, I got the conveyor belt put down in the middle. Looks real good. That'll be a nice little footing for them as they come in. So I'll show y'all the way this thing works the best I can. It's gonna be loud. I don't know if I should set y'all up and show you how it works, or yeah, I'll probably just set you up and show you how it works. So let's do that. All right, I step back, and there's no way to see it unless I just show you how. This is pretty much just going to be. I'm gonna show you how it does this way. So this handle here is your headstock. Right here, you just push down, crank it down, and that scissors that door down, closes up on their head. And then if they're real rowdy, you can set this bar down here and see how it comes down on their head like that. Right there. You can tighten that down, and then you loop these chains over. I guess right here. Something like that. Or flip it the other way. I don't know. You flip it the other way, yeah. We've never had one of those before, but we'll see if it works out. I've never really had them be so rowdy that I couldn't get a shot in them or an ear tag in them. This right here is your squeeze. This handle here is your squeeze. That's your release there, but just crank it down. You can throw a squeeze on them pretty good right there. You can take these bars down here to get into them, get into your neck or whatever. And I got those all the way down releases all along the top. I kind of like these releases. They're a little bit easier to use than the one on our newer Powder River. The new one's got a hoop and then just one slatch down the middle of it, which, you know, you can open two at a time with that one, but I think that's pretty handy the way these are. And then this right here, you pull down on it and it works your cut gate. Pretty slick on the cut gate. I like that. Right there's the mechanism. And then if you want to leave it open, you just press that down and it'd probably come down if you pulled on it hard enough, but it holds it up there pretty easy. So that's pretty slick. So the way this is set up, you can run the headstock and the cut gate at the same time, which is pretty slick. I like that way it's set up. Sorry guys, Mom came out. Started talking to me, so I had to stop recording. But right here, you can pull these pins out like this. And then this one. And then you can, it's stuck in there right now. There we go. You can drop this down, get to their feet, right in there. Put these pins back in so they don't fall over on me. Oh, yeah. But that is the finished unit right there. I think it turned out pretty good. But yeah, so that's all finished up. I'll give you all the walk around. But I believe this project here is all wrapped up and she's ready to go to work. So there you go. Didn't take too long. All said and done. I could probably done it in about 2 days if I worked steady on it. Just a couple evenings, but we're gonna put her to use and hopefully be a little more stress-free on the cow, stress-free on people. Well, I'll catch y'all next one. Head into it.